Commander Nightshady here. I want to start out by saying thank you for watching this Elite Dangerous tutorial video. So if you're like me, maybe you didn't play the Elite Dangerous beta, you didn't play the Elite Dangerous Gamma version, the game was released, you bought the game, and suddenly you're overwhelmed. There's not a lot of instructions that come along with the game, and if you're like me, you get into the game and you're just completely lost. So I thought I'd make these tutorial videos to help those who are just starting out the game. We're going to start very basic, and as we learn more, we'll get into more advanced things. But the very first thing that you encounter when you log into the game is the Starport menus. So I'm going to go over the basics of the Starport menu. Just tell you some of the basics of what you're going to find in these menus. So if you look at the very bottom center of the screen, you'll see Russell Ring, that's the spaceport that I'm at, and then there's three menus under that: Starport Services, Inner Hangar, and Launch. So I'm going to go to the Starport Services menu. So when you click on this menu, it's going to pull up your basic home page. Up in the top left, Russell Ring, that's where I'm currently located. This is an independent faction, which just means it's not one of the three large factions of the Federation, the Empire, the Alliance. Commander Nightshady, that's me. Here's my balance of credits currently. On the left side here, there's different menus. We'll go over each of these individually. Currently, we're at the home page. In the center is the ship analysis. I just bought this Sidewinder just to kind of show people what the menus would be for this starting ship. So you see here, this is my ship, the Sidewinder. It's a brand new ship. The hull is 100%. My fuel tank's at 100, as is the fuel tank reservoir. On the right side, this is the Galnet news. So basically, the Galnet news is what's going on in the galaxy. At first, this is going to be very overwhelming. Like, you won't have any idea what any of this stuff means. But as you get into the game more and kind of learn about the storylines of what's happening in the galaxy, this will become a little bit more beneficial. Some of the important things you can find in this will be like where conflict zones is, like such as if the Federation and the Empire duking it out in a certain system. You see here Federal warship arrives in Luala system. So this can tell you like where a conflict zone might be, so you can actually go there and join a side and earn credits. But for now, we're not going to pay a whole lot of attention to the Galnet news because it's just not that helpful when you're first starting out the game. So let's go back over here to these menus on the left. Once again, this is the home page. Underneath this is munitions. Now this Sidewinder only has two basic lasers, so there's no multi-cannons or rail guns or missile pods or anything that requires ammo, so I don't need to resupply these lasers, and therefore there's no options. In the repair section, this is where you can repair your ship. You also can just repair it at the home page here under Repair All. It's unavailable now because my ship's at 100%. The one thing to take note of in the repair section is the ship integrity. Now the ship integrity actually will degrade even if you don't take damage. So say you jump into one of your ships, you travel a few hundred light years, you're going to get some wear and tear to your ship that won't show up in this basic repair menu right here. So if you want to repair the integrity of the ship, you just click on this. I can't click on it now because my ship integrity is 100%. So underneath the repairs, the bulletin board. So basically the bulletin board is where you can get missions to earn credits. Now I'm going to make some videos on how to earn credits, but I'll just give you a little sample here. So this mission is basically a courier mission to take something from one place to the other. It only rewards 900 credits. That one's not really worth it. This one is most likely a pirate mission. These can actually be beneficial, and I'll get into more of that later. This one here, where it wants you to bring auto fabricators, you have to be careful because some of these missions require you to actually go locate these things. And you may see this reward of 25,000 and think, oh yeah, I definitely want to do this. Well, these auto fabricators may cost 4,000 or 5,000 credits a piece, and you only start out with 1,000 credits, so this isn't going to be an option for you right off the bat. Some of these other missions don't give you any money, but they may give you reputation gain. I I haven't really found this to be super helpful. I guess if you got unfriendly with a faction and you wanted to up your reputation without doing the normal things like doing, paying missions for them, you could do these. But I haven't found the reputation gains to be super helpful. Although I guess if you were trying to get a special ship with like the Empire or the Federation, you may do this to up your reputation with them. So the bulletin board is where you get missions. Sometimes you'll have you'll have missions that are unobtainable. They would be underneath these in a separate bracket. Most of the time, the missions are unavailable because you don't have the reputation necessary to obtain them. So the next menu is contacts, and this is a pretty important menu. The first sub-menu in here is the Pilots Federation. Under here, you can pay any bounties that you have on yourself. So say you're out doing a bounty hunting mission and the cop's ship flies right in front of you and you accidentally shoot them, well, you're going to be wanted and you're going to have a bounty. So you want to pay that off so you don't have the authorities hassling you or trying to blow you up. One thing to remember is that there's different factions, and so your bounty may be with the Federation. Well, you certainly wouldn't want to go to a Federation spaceport to pay that off, because as soon as you pop up there, they're going to try and kill you. So wherever your bounty is, say it's with the Federation, you'd want to go to like an independent spaceport to pay that off. So how do you do that? Well, you go to your ship's menu, and I'll go more into ship menus on a different video, but basically you go to your system map. And you can see here I'm currently at the Russell Ring. This is independent. The spaceport right next to it, the Cleve Hub, is owned by the Federation. So if I had a Federation bounty, I certainly wouldn't want to roll up to the Cleve Hub and try and pay it off. I would want to find an independent one where I could go pay that off without them trying to kill me. Local security office. This is important for all the bounty hunters out there, because this is where you're going to go to collect the bounty vouchers. So say you see a wanted ship out there, you blow it up and it's worth 5,000 credits. You want to know where that bounty is to be paid, because different factions will have different bounties on people, and one ship may have a bounty with multiple factions. So the quickest way to figure out where your bounty can be paid off is to go to the transactions menu, and under claims you can see I have bounties I could collect in the Empire and also independent Airvate free, which actually is in this system but it's in a different starport. If I wanted to see where to collect that bounty, I could go back to the system menu, look for Airvate independent free. Here it is. So I could go to the Ackerman market, and then I could actually collect this bounty of 4,365 credits. So local security office is where you collect all the bounties. Also, you pay off any fines, like say you had stolen goods in your ship and it doesn't make you wanted, but they give you a fine, you can pay those off here. Lastly is the combat bond contact. If you go to a conflict zone where there's a war going on between, say, the Federation and the Empire, and you join a side and you blow up, say, Empire ships, the Federation will pay you for those under the combat bond vouchers. And currently I don't have any, but this is where you would collect those. Now, the last thing that you can see in the contacts menu, and this Russell Ring doesn't have it, but some stations have a black market. And so if there's a black market, there'll be a fourth submenu that pops up here that says black market. And when you click on that, it'll say, do you want to sell illegal goods? And so if you have any goods that are illegal, you can sell them in the black market. And illegal goods could be, most commonly, it's things that are deposited after a ship starts to blow up. They'll drop, say, data plans or transmissions and things that you can scoop up and collect. Well, anything you collect from salvage actually is qualified as a stolen good. So those you can sell in the black market, but you have to be very careful about what you take into spaceports, because you will oftentimes get scanned by the authorities when you're going in. If they see stolen goods, you'll rack up a fine, which usually will erase any money that you would make from selling those illegal goods. So underneath contacts is outfitting. This is where you're going to upgrade your ship. If you click on this, your ship will go into the starport and to the outfitting menu. A couple things about outfitting, and I'm going to go into a lot more detail in another video about how to outfit your ship, but One thing to remember is that different starports have different things available for your ship. If you're in like an agricultural type world, they won't have a lot in options for your ship. The best place to find upgrades for your ship is a high technology system. How do you figure out if you're a high technology system? Well, easiest thing to do is go to back to navigation, go to the system map, and you can get information about what type of port this is. This is industrial. This is industrial. Most of the time in the system, they'll all be the same. This is more agricultural, as you can see there. And there are some that are high technology. And so the high technology is the best place for you to find upgrades for your ship. But even the basic agricultural places will have some upgrades. So this is where you could say, oh, you could upgrade your lasers. And you see here, they actually have a few options for what you can upgrade to. Now, you only start out with 1,000 credits, so you won't be able to upgrade anything at first. But as you make money, you'll be able to upgrade your ship, and I'll do a different video on what's the best ways to upgrade your ship and also what all these things on these menus mean. So, underneath outfitting is the shipyard. Once again, different starports have different ships available. This starport has 8 ships available. That's a pretty high number, actually. There's currently 15 total ships that you can buy, and this ship has over half of them. That's pretty good. Some starports will only have like 2 or 3. But here you can see the different ships that you can buy, how much they cost, and all the stats about that. And I'll make another video about what's the progression of ships. But basically, the shipyard is where you can buy new ships. Also, if you have any stored ships, now they have to be stored at the facility you're at. Here at this station, I have 2 stored ships. This is the Viper. This is my bounty hunting and combat ship. I also have a Cobra. I use this mostly for hauling goods around. So I have a couple ships in storage here. If you click on the stored ships, you have options of retrieve old ship, store your current ship. You can sell the stored ship, and so on and so forth. Right now, I'm just going to exit out of this. So the next drop-down menu at the home page is the commodities market. So this is where you can buy and sell goods. Now, when you start out with a Sidewinder, you see here it only has 4 cargo spaces. That's not a lot. It may be tempting to look at this and try and buy something and go and sell it real quick to make money. I'll tell you, in the Sidewinder, it's really not a good option to try and do a lot of trading. You just don't have enough space, nor do you have enough money to effectively trade to up your credits very quickly. A couple things about this menu. You can only buy things where they have supply. If I click on hydrogen fuel, they have some here under supply. I could buy that. It would pop up a menu here. I could buy as many as I want, up to the amount of space I have. But say consumer technology, they have no supply, so it won't give me any transaction. Now, if I had some in my cargo hold, I could sell them, but I can't buy them. A couple things about this commodities market menu. These are the buy and sell prices for the items. Cargo is how many you have. Currently, I have no cargo, so this is all empty. This is the demand at this current station. When you get into trading a little bit more detail, you'll want to look at this very closely to see what's in demand at different stations, as well as what's the supply. The galactic average tells you what's the average price. This is also helpful. So, say for example, food cartridges are in high supply at this station. Normally they sell for around 200 credits, but here you can buy them for 45 credits. Now, you're certainly not going to make a lot of money buying and selling food cartridges with such a low price, but this is a good example of something that you could potentially buy and sell for a profit somewhere else, because you're buying for 45 and the average price is 206 out in the galaxy. Another thing you can do is look at where things are exported to and where they're imported to. So say you have a mission where you have to buy something, they may not have it at this station, like say for example consumer technology. You can go and see where it's imported from. Likewise, if you have something you want to sell, you can see where it's exported to, and you can take it to that system where generally they want it, and you can sell it for a good price. The other thing to remember about the commodities market is some things are illegal at certain spaceports and not illegal at other spaceports. So how do you know what's illegal at what spaceport? Well, once again, we're going to go to the system map, and you can see we're currently at the Russell Ring. Go over here and you can see what's prohibited at this station. Now this is a pretty liberal station. The only thing that's really prohibited here is toxic waste and slaves. It's pretty common for the independent stations to allow you more to bring in versus ones that are controlled by, say, the Federation, where there's a lot of things prohibited. So narcotics, weapons, a lot of things that you couldn't bring into the Cleve hub, you could freely take into Russell Ring. So you have to be a little bit careful about what you try and bring into different stations. If you have things that are questionable like narcotics or slaves or weapons, you want to make sure you're not going into a station where they're going to slap you with a fine or blow you up for having them. So this is the commodities market. Eventually you'll use this pretty frequently. When you're first starting out, not so much. So under the commodities market is universal cartographics. So this is a place where you can sell the data that you've collected on various systems. In order to make this profitable, you have to have some advanced scanners and advanced sensors. You see here that these are only worth like 200 credits. If you do a real detailed scan of a system, you can make up to 70 or 100,000 credits per system, depending on what you find there. One thing to note is you have to be at least 20 light years away from the system that you took the data to the system you're selling it. You can see the distance from this system is 131 light years, so I can actually sell this data. I'm only getting 200 credits, but it all adds up, and so especially if you're going out to make credits exploring, these numbers can be really big. Right now these are really small because I didn't do very detailed scans at all. So that's basically all the submenus here at the Starport. This kind of gives you the basics on what you can do at a Starport, what are the options, a little bit of information of how are the Starports different. So I hope this has been helpful. I'm going to go into some more detailed information about ships and trading in other videos, but I want to thank you for watching this video about Starport Services. Thank you.